It's me.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. The weather this week is going to be in the mid 70s to upper 70s. Man, am I excited. Going to get out. We've got 100 little seed pots planted. Going to do the other 400 Thursday and Friday afternoon. I am so excited. So excited. Might even take the dogs out and let them run around the farm a little bit. Although last time they really overdid it. I thought poor Stewie was going to have a heart attack. So I want to talk briefly, because we've got to get out to the farm, about food, testing for food allergies. Like, how do you do that? So there's shortcuts, and then there's the best method, which is trial and error. It just takes a really long time. So I talked to a client yesterday during a consultation, and she's a dog trainer, so she's pretty smart with things that go on with dogs. And her dog literally has had digestive issues since very early on. As a puppy, also had he landed in the exact right spot because he had some behavioral issues that she's working on. And she said, yeah, I think that I got him because I needed to learn how to deal with this, and he got me because I wanted to learn how to deal with this. So everything happens for a reason, and we get the animals that we're supposed to get so that we learn things. But somewhere along the way, she thought, maybe he's got a beef allergy. So she did the perfect test. She took him off everything else and just gave him a beef diet. It was a raw, muscle, bone, and organ diet for 4 days. Well, the dog had liquid explosive diarrhea when he was only fed beef. So she added that to her list and said, I'm pretty sure the beef doesn't agree with him. Now, that's a great test. If your dog has breakthrough, just, it's a mess. That's a pretty good show of intolerance to something. Now, in order to really validate that test, she would put him on something else, get everything cleared up, then give him beef again, and sort of the double study to prove that, yep, that truly is a problem. That's on his "we are never going to feed that again" list. And then, so she's found a homemade diet, not balanced, and it's too carb heavy for what we want in the long run, but it is working for the dog because it's got a lot of fiber in it. It's cooling and draining, which is what he needs. So she's been trying to add things one at a time. So she added a dark leafy green, which this dog really needs to drain his liver. And it still's got a little soft, but not horrible. And then she backed off because she was like, well, I don't want this to turn into full-blown diarrhea. But after our talk yesterday, we agreed that she was going to try that again because he really does need it. And she tried eggs, and that was pretty much a no-go, which doesn't surprise me because I don't think that chicken is going to be agreeable with this dog, and she avoids it because he's hot. But then she started feeding sardines, and she said, well, I had to get canned sardines and water because I couldn't source the whole sardines right at the moment. So she fed them for 4 days, and the dog broke out in hives. Interestingly, all down his right side, which is the yang side, which is the hot side. So he broke out with hives all down his right side, right ear, and scratched them open, and now has sores and scabs everywhere. Well, she's in Massachusetts. He does have some environmental allergies, but she's in Massachusetts. It's cold. That was not an environmental allergy outbreak. She's under a foot of snow right now. So she said, I'm pretty sure he's allergic to sardines or whitefish. And I said, well, yeah, he broke out in hives. That's pretty significant. That is a true allergy. That's not just I kind of don't tolerate that food very well. That's a true allergy if they get facial swelling and hives. So I said, well, again, once we get him cleared up, because he's still suffering the after effects, and we're trying to avoid using oral antibiotics. So she's using topical colloidal silver and some sprays, and managing to keep it under control. We're going to try to find him a place to get a TheraClean bath to get all these scabs and crusts off. But once that's cleared up, again, in order to really prove that it was the whitefish, she needs to feed him whitefish again and see if he breaks out again. We kind of hate to do it because you don't want to make your dog suffer with the hives. So when we were talking, I said, well, I mean, you're doing a great job kind of ruling out one thing at a time. But if you think about, trying to have 15 or 20 ingredients and different proteins that your pet can tolerate, you can see that this would be a very slow, long process doing one food at a time. And, your pet may suffer the side effects while you're testing one food at a time. So options for food allergy testing. She could do the blood test, the RAST, which is the one that I recommend for the environmental allergies. It's okay. I don't know that it is the absolute best test, but it does give you a guideline. If something comes up screaming high on that test, I'd avoid it. If things are in the negative range, might be worth a try. And we need to get some fats into this dog's food. We need to get some oils into this dog's food. Part of his problem is he has a liver blood deficiency, which is causing dry skin and dry flakes on his skin. And then that causes internal wind, which is itching. So that's why he's itchy in the winter. And she said this is his worst winter with the itchiness, but she knows it's because the diet that he's on doesn't have enough healthy fats in it. So he does well with coconut oil. We're going to add that back in. Don't want to add a sardine anchovy or whitefish oil because of the sardine incident. I said, well, we could try salmon oil. But what we're going to do first is we're going to get a Nutrascan test. And that's Dr. Jean Dodd's test. We do have it in our web store now on our website. It's called Nutrascan. And it's a food intolerance test, really. And what it measures is antibodies. It's a saliva test, so it's easy to do at home. You get the kit. I think it's a rope or something that you let your dog chew on. You get lots of saliva on there, and then they test for a lot of different food intolerances. And what they're doing is measuring short-term and long-term